What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of Earl Sweatshirt's fifth album, Live, Laugh, Love. This album, the follow-up to his collab with The Alchemist in 2023, was announced with just a few days of notice. Earl back once again. Earl, of course, has really settled into what his sound has been for the last 8 or so years, right? There's very clearly a demarcation point between Earl from Doris and before and Earl after Doris, right? And I always had this problem where I really enjoyed early Earl. I like the energy of how he used to be in his younger years. I'm not the biggest fan of his style nowadays, even though he's clearly a better rapper. He's a better rhymer. So it's a contrast that I struggle with because he's clearly a different guy. He's someone who has matured a lot. He has been a parent for several years at this point. He's become more reclusive, but also a lot more content and happy with how his life is going. And this is the music he wants to make. And this is the music that he has lots of fans with still to this day, right? And, listening to him in a very animated interview with the New York Times, it was, I think, kind of illuminating to hear how at peace he seems to be about everything that he's doing. Earl Sweatshirt's fifth album, Live, Laugh, Love, is pretty good. If you enjoy the funny wordplay, the references, the double entendres, the very atypical rhyme schemes that Earl Sweatshirt has made his name on over the last handful of years, you will enjoy Live, Laugh, Love. This album is largely one note for the most point, never too high, never too low. Doris Earl, of course, is long gone at this point. I do think there's a lot to be interested in with Live, Laugh, Love because the production is very interesting. There's a lot of, I think, depth to it. There's a lot to listen to. Sometimes the mix can be a bit too thin where it's almost hard to hear what Earl's saying because his, kind of understated delivery these days combined with a very messy beat can make the song a bit busy. But when things shine, like on the song Static, which was an immediate standout to me, you understand why Earl Sweatshirt's still a one-of-one artist. In terms of the songs that I liked, I thought Forge beat was pretty dope. Honestly, it has this cool string note. I love the way it drops a note as it goes in. Infatuation, very similar strings from Forge. Earl, though, a bit more animated in his delivery. Gamma, very memorable horns. I like the way the outro went, where it's like short-circuiting as the beat is coming to a close. This is the kind of vibe that he's interested in, and he's given us the last few albums, right? With the Alchemist Project, and of course some rap songs, and Feet of Clay, and Sick, right? Like this has been his vibe for a while at this point. Well Done. Kind of like this noisy jazz vibe, has this melodic flair to how Earl is ending his bars, though. Definitely like a bit of a different style of delivery from Earl. And a lot of these songs are super short. Like that song is only like 70 seconds long. It's a very brief listen, but because Earl is such a dense rapper and these beats are so layered, there's a lot packed into this album's, 25 minutes. Live almost had this like jam band vibe to its percussion loop. I think the second half vocals, though, were very muffled, really hard to grasp Earl's, words for the most part, which is a shame because I think that beat switch in that second half was pretty cool. Static, though, as I said, my favorite for sure. I think the Earl bars here are very clear, very confident. The beat's very lively, almost like triumphant loop. Definitely my favorite song here. Crisco is pretty cool. You have these like glitchy background vocals, pretty cool effect. I think Earl's energy is still high, which I enjoyed. Tourmaline, I enjoyed the strings, but I think Earl's delivery is just a bit lethargic, hard to really, be too excited about. And then Heavy Metal, aka Ejecto Season, nothing to do with metal at all. I think honestly this is probably the worst example of the mix where it's just hard to hear Earl for the most part. So yeah, Earl Sweatshirt, for an artist that like his sound these days I don't really care for, I do think there's still a lot to appreciate about him. Everything he does is a must listen. And it was kind of cool in that interview to hear him talk about reflecting back on Odd Future, which is like the distant past at this point. That's how much time has gone on. And also talking about his relationship and staying in contact with Tyler and Frank, of course, his two luminaries from the group. So Earl Sweatshirt continuing to clearly march to the beat of his own drum. And yeah, let me know what you think of Earl Sweatshirt's latest album, Live, Laugh, Love. What'd you like most about it? How would you compare it to his last few releases? Let me know. And for more music reviews, more rap reviews, subscribe. And I'll see you next time.